we are very, very interested in your thoughts and observations about the expectation now.
Yeah, and we're seeing some trends right now that we don't like with the latest model runs that we have, as well as the latest forecast tracks that we have in from the Hurricane Center, and that's because of what we think could happen after landfall. I'm going to explain that for you coming up. First, here's what we're watching on radar right now. We've had a few scattered showers around. Right now, most of the activity is on the south side. I'll take you down south of the city right now. You can see, remember earlier I told you about that outflow boundary that was coming out from some collapsing showers that might cause some storms to erupt in Coweta County. There they are beginning to develop. Also moving down into parts of Meriwether County too. Into Heard County we have some showers. These in Meriwether County have a lot of thunder and lightning with them. The trend is that those are going to be moving more toward the west. Elsewhere around North Georgia, not as much activity going on. We have some showers here over to the south and east of us. This is near Putnam County, south of Lake Oconee, and then moving down just to the north of the Macon area as well. Outside right now, we have some clouds around here in Atlanta. Some of those have holes in them to allow some sunshine to come through, but no active rain here in town. And here is a live look. This is just north of Charleston there on the South Carolina coastline, where the surf is going to be getting rough. Conditions will be deteriorating over the next couple of days. All right, let me show you what we're watching right now with Florence. The 5 o'clock update has Florence increasing in strength again, as well as in size. And we're not only watching Florence, but we're also keeping an eye here on Isaac and also Helene. Here's a look at Florence right now. You can see it's still an impressive looking storm as it's moving quickly across the Atlantic Ocean. Right now, maximum sustained winds 140 miles an hour. It went down to 130 earlier today, but now back up to 140. Those are just some normal fluctuations that we often see with these storms, moving west-northwest at about 17 miles an hour. I want to show you some of the changes that we have with the 5 o'clock update. Number one, it is going to slow down a little bit before landfall. And instead of a Thursday landfall, we now think it's going to be a Friday landfall, coming in as a 3 or 4 storm. Still, this looks like it's going to be along the North Carolina coastline. This is where we're seeing some changes. As the remnants come in, yesterday we were showing those moving up into Virginia. We would have been on the quiet side with no impacts. But now that the remnants on the latest trends are showing this move westward, we could see some impacts in northeast Georgia with wind and rain on Sunday and Monday. But as you know, that's 5 days out. That can change. We'll keep you posted on that. The tropical storm force winds extend about 175 miles out from the center, and the hurricane force winds extend 60 miles out from the center. So they'll be feeling that during the day on Thursday and into Friday as well. Still keeping an eye on this system moving into the Gulf of Mexico. The Hurricane Center giving this 50% chance of development in the next 2 days, 70% chance in the next 5 days. Hopefully that will not impact our weather. We're going to see rain chances still at 50% on Wednesday, not because of Florence, but because of this frontal boundary that's washing out. Drier air comes in for the end of the week, Friday and Saturday, but here's a big change. Depending on the remnants of the storm, we are now bringing rain chances back up Sunday and Monday with highs in the 80s, upper 80s here on Tuesday as well. Stay with us. Sam's going to talk a little bit more about which side of the storm has the worst impacts with it and the potential impacts for us coming up.